trying to deal with these enemies at certain points is almost impossible. And until you get the pattern down, until you get used to certain jumps, it's one of these games where you're going to repeat over and over again the same areas and keep dying over and over again, just because you're not quite sure what's next. So you make a jump and you die and you have to repeat the area, and then you know next time around that enemy's going to spawn, so I have to be more careful. And even then, cheap deaths can happen anytime in the Ninja Gaiden series. Now this is the third boss, the third member of the Malice 4. This is Bassaquer, I'm not sure how you say his name. Just like the other one that starts with a B. Now he is a lot more tougher than the previous bosses. He jumps back and forth, and every other jump or so, he releases like these little bombs that come at you, like stacked one on each other. I suggest staying on one side, and then just attacking them from the one side. Now, of course, you can go to either side to attack, and you can follow him back and forth, but I find it easier to kind of contain him to one spot. You know where he's coming at, hit him. You know, if he shoots out, there's 3 balls, there's missiles that come out. You can kill him real quickly with a good shot with the sword, and then just wait till he jumps over to the other side and then comes back. As we now are in another cutscene before we get into Act 4. So all of a sudden, we go back, we meet up with the Dr. Smith, and he's been killed. And all of a sudden, random people show up and tell us to go with them. We are going to soon find out what organization they're working for, and it just kind of adds another monkey wrench into the whole plot, a whole nother group that we have to deal with now, who's also pretty much trying to get the statues. And this one's actually trying to stop the statues from being used to summon the demon or bring the demon back to life, because it of course will cause worldwide chaos and the end of the world pretty much. So now we have the CIA involved. We have this other organization that is being led by the main enemy of the game, Jakio. I've never been quite sure how to pronounce the name. Basically the leader of the Malice 4, who's trying to resurrect the demon. And then of course we have ourselves, who has to now work for the CIA in order to get the statues back, and pretty much in order to prevent the end of the world. And now what's going to happen is we're being sent to South America, and we're going to get dropped into the middle of the forest, or the middle of the jungle. Very similar cutscene to the beginning of the first Metal Gear game on the NES, where you get dropped into the forest. Now here is the jungle level. I always like, I haven't really mentioned it, but in Castlevania you have the candles you hit with the whip in order to get your items. In this game, for each level that you go to, it has a different one of those types of things. We've seen, we've seen fairies, we've seen spiders like in this level, we've seen little eagles that are things, flies. You see all kinds of different things that are used as kind of like the item placement things in the game that you hit in order to get your items. As you saw just right there, as I killed that one eagle, another eagle immediately spawned. That's a small example of the bad spawns that can happen at any time. Like if you don't quite move off the screen at certain points, like if you're staying at the same spot, you can just keep fighting the same enemy over and over again. They'll just keep spawning because unfortunately they didn't put the spawn points outside of the area where you can see. They kind of put it in that same area. So you kill that bat's just going to keep coming at you over and over again. And when you're trying to make a jump and you kill something like to the right of you, and then you have to jump over to that platform, and you like back up for a second to get a running start, and all of a sudden that bat respawns and you end up running right into it and fall right down a pit. That's why the projectile weapons such as that boomerang, shuriken, or the fireball can be very useful in the Ninja Gaiden series to kind of hit what's ahead of you. As another one, there's examples of there's birds just respawned after I killed both of them. They immediately respawned right back. So now for the rest of the game, our main goal is to hunt down Jakio and get the statues back before he's able to summon the ultimate evil, the ultimate demon, in order to rule the world. It's kind of a simple plot. Basically, hero has to stop villain before he tries to take over the world, but just the way it's told, even if it is kind of campy, just the way it's told in the game makes it so cool and makes this game a kind of one of the best examples of what the NES or the 8-bit era offered in terms of games, and how we actually still use that today, and how prevalent cutscenes have become throughout video games. Working my way back and forth, as you can see a good example. In the other Ninja Gaiden games, Ninja Gaiden 2, they added it so that when I jump on that wall, I can actually climb up and down, even if it's not a ladder. So it makes those little scenes a little bit easier to manage. Now, at the end of this level is the first time we were going to be fighting a boss. It's not a member of the Malice 4, and it's coming up right here. This is actually a kind of a boss that's in all 3 of the NES games. Done differently in each one, but you have 2 enemies, and you can only hurt the one, basically, at a time. And you take them out. You can take actually one out individually. In Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3, there's another exact version that does a slightly different battle, but it's the same version. The best way is to focus on the one you're doing the most damage to, and just follow its path. A good way to just kind of avoid the other one. Now you can take out their projectiles if you hit them with the dragon sword. Now that I have the one done, just have to focus on the other one. It's just a little bit of pain trying to hit it. You have to jump up to hit it. There it goes. And the boss for level 4. Now, like I said before, in our next runs, in my runs of Ninja Gaiden 2 and 3, you're going to see a boss very similar to that one. It kind of became like the staple boss of the franchise. Now, this is our first meeting with the main enemy of the game, the boss we're hunting down. Jakio, whatever, I'm sorry, don't know how to pronounce the name correctly, I'm sure someone will let me know. Of course, he wants us to kind of just give up and give him what he wants, but we're not going to do that until we find out he has captured the woman who actually captured us earlier in the game. That we found out that was actually a secret agent of the CIA. sent to hunt us down, and we now find out that she's been captured. And like any good hero, we're gonna give him what he wants. So we leave him with the statue, and since he has nothing to do with it, he doesn't need us anymore. He's gonna go ahead and he's gonna drop us in a pit. Classic boss, classic bad guy there. Drop you in when there's classic pits. Hit the button behind the desk and drop your enemy into a hole. And now that he has what he wants, he's now going to go ahead and he's going to summon that ultimate demon. And the boss, of course, comes complete